Hi, welcome to our Homestead series. We hope this will be of enjoyment and informative. We don't know everything, we don't do everything perfect, but what we do know works for us. In these economic times, people have been talking about a back to the land movement or getting back to a more simple way of life. The transformation from the comforts of city dwelling and our modern way can be a little different going back to the homestead. I won't say complicated, but there are some things that some people should know. So I hope you enjoy this series. Thank you for watching. Okay, so this is our next homestead series. We're going to show you how we do our sets or whatever. We start our own plants. We did buy some this year as we were getting late. We got pretty busy with this greenhouse and everything, and the weather wasn't really cooperating. First thing I'll show you is, this is one thing you're going to need. This is called a seed starting germinating. Now there's probably different brands. My wife bought this one.
It's not my top choice for seed starter because it has fertilizer in it already.
Okay.
But it was the only brand we could find anywhere this year.
Okay, good point. You're probably wondering, yeah, because we're always talking organics and that. We usually are, but we're not religiously organic, and all I mean by that is, like generally it's true, we try to stick with organic. We try to use open pollinated seed. We definitely do not get into genetic modified stuff. But as she said, it was hard this year getting this for some reason. We don't know why. We went through, I don't know how many stores.
We went through about 6 stores for about 3 weeks trying to find seed starter and couldn't find it.
Yeah.
We also couldn't find the ingredients to make our own this year.
Yeah, and that's something my wife might do for you sometime, is show you how to make your own. So I'll just show you her hands here, what she's doing. These are the trays. We've kept ours trays there from years past. And there's a tray in the bottom, and then these. And right now you're just packing the dirt, I guess, there, huh?
Yeah. I have pre-moistened the seed starter with warm water because seeds need warm heat. And you don't want it really dripping wet, but you want it to stay pretty packed in your hand. But it still crumbles pretty easy. Okay. If it's too wet, your seeds would rot. And if it's too dry, they won't have enough moisture to absorb to sprout.
And did you do any prep with these trays first?
Yeah, when you're reusing trays, you always need to wash them really well. If there's any bacteria on them, it can actually kill your seedlings once they start to grow. It's called dampening off disease. And so I wash it in really hot soapy water with a little bit of bleach, and then rinse them really well when you're done. Okay.
And what are these giving us here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by how long? There's 3
12.
By 12, 6 by 12, so 72. 72 plants in each container, and she's got, how many do you figure you'll get out of this one bag of soil here? Probably 4?
Out of one bag I'll fill 2 flats.
2 flats.
Maybe a little bit more, maybe with 2.5.
Okay.
But that's a pretty small bag. Once again, that was the only size and type we could find this year. Normally the bag I would buy would be about 3 times that size.
Right.
And being a different brand, actually a lot cheaper.
Okay.
So this brand was about $4 for that small bag.
And what are you going to be putting in these ones?
In these ones, we're going to be putting in some more tomatoes.
Okay.
A heirloom paste tomato. I believe it was. Which is this one here? It's a Heinz.
Okay. This is a heirloom, I should say, seed company that we've been supporting. One of a couple. If anybody is interested, I imagine they ship.
They're here in Canada, but I would think they would ship elsewhere.
Right. Most of our subscribers, I think, are in the U.S., but yeah, we have a few Canadians. And how long from the time you put the seeds in do you expect this will show? Like how long? Before they start to sprout? Yeah.
It usually anywhere from 5 to 7 days for tomatoes.
Okay. And when do they come out of here? Like into pot? Like will they go from here right into the ground?
They can, yes.
Okay.
It depends when you're starting them. If I was starting them a few months ago, once the roots start to show at the edges of the container, I would take them out and pot them into a larger container.
Okay.
Because you don't want the roots to get pot bound.
Okay.
If you ever take a flower or a vegetable out of a pot in the nursery, and there's a lot of white roots around the edges, it's almost so hard you can't break the soil up. Okay. It's pot bound and the plants are stressed. They're not going to grow as well for you. So the roots always need lots of room.
Okay. And when you go to take them from this, let's assume you are going to put them right into the garden. Mm-hmm. You just take them out of the greenhouse and then just pull them out and put them in the garden, or?
No, you need to harden them off for at least a week. It lets them gradually get used to the temperature changes, the wind. So starting on the first day, you're going to get ready to plant. About a week before you want to plant them out. Take them outside and put them in a shady place that's fairly sheltered for about an hour, and then each day that week increase the time about an hour each day.
And that's what you mean by hardening?
Yes.
Taking outside?
And then by the end of the week they should be safe to plant outside.
Okay. And how tall will they be? Like how long? You said 7 days to sprout, and then how long from that sprout, 7 days, to go like in the garden?
It really actually doesn't go by how tall the plants are. It goes by your growing time, anytime after your last frost date.
Okay.
Plant outside.
So even if they're little bitty things that are sprouted, they can still go in the...
They will do just fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they're actually sometimes smaller, more compact plants will make a better transition into the garden than a long leggy one.
Okay.
If you're starting these and you're putting them in say a bright window inside, if you don't have a light set or a greenhouse,
right,
your plants will grow and they'll do well, but quite often they'll get more long and leggy because the sunlight's not as bright.
Right.
So when you plant your tomatoes outside, plant them deeper into the ground. Cover the stem with dirt up until just the bottom set of leaves, and they will actually sprout roots all along there, and it'll make a much stronger plant.
Now are you putting these with the clear lids we have on top, or are you just putting them right the way they are in the greenhouse?
Because the greenhouse stays pretty warm and moist in there, I'm not using domes.
Okay.
But if I was keeping them in the house under our light set, I would either put a plastic dome over them, or even saran wrap or a big plastic bag will work.
Okay.
Because most seeds don't need sunlight in order to sprout. They just need warmth and humidity.
Right.
There are some types of flower seeds that will need sunlight, but your package should tell you that if they do.
Okay.
Okay, we're planting some more tomato seeds right now. This is the paste tomato, the Heinz paste tomato that we were showing you earlier. And you just carefully put 1 or 2 seeds in each pot. I have really good luck with germination rate, so I usually just put 1 seed in. If you put 2 in and both come up, then when they're a few weeks old, pick the strongest one and leave that, cut the other one off at soil level. And what I'm doing is I'm putting 1 seed in each cell, and then when I'm done, I'll go back and I'll just push it down a little bit and just put a little bit of dirt over it. You don't want it too deep.
About what? 1/4 of an inch?
You generally go about twice as deep as the seed is high. So that way, that's generally a good guide. So if you were doing bean seeds, you'd plant them maybe 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep. A small little seed like this, maybe 1/4.
Good. Okay. Is that all, sweetie?
Pretty much, yeah.
And just watch for them to come up.
Keep them moist and warm. And you don't want to keep them soaking wet, but keep them, like I said, they need enough moisture to let them sprout and not enough moisture to keep mold from growing, or keep mold growing.